if you say China's doing this, doing that, okay, what are you going to do?
Okay.
But don't announce that.
Yeah.
But we must be prepared to respond to the illegal acts of the aggression of China.
Okay, speaking of consistency, we're dealing with China. They're willing to play the very long game, no? It's a Chinese market.
China is always like that. It's always long game.
But for the Philippines, we're bound by restrictions of term limits. For instance, every
I know.
6 years, pwede maiba
Change.
yung strategy by the government. So the past 6 years, we're very, very, we're very, very friendly to China. The next administration, somehow the
No,
complete
what we are against, let's make this clear. What we are against is their bullying activities. All right? Obviously, we understand the world geopolitics, that we have to be as diplomatic to each other as possible. They're not our enemy, but what they're doing is wrong. And based on what they're doing, we have to respond aggressively
But
to
if you're-
teach them a lesson.
But if you're China, wouldn't it be better for you to just wait for the next administration
That's what they're doing.
and hope that that is friendly again to you?
That's what they're doing. But that's why we have to be consistent. That's exactly their advantage. Their advantage is they have a continuum,
Yeah.
right? Our disadvantage is the change of,
You have a very short shelf life for this.
but at least we have to do something to make them think twice. Well, that applies as well to other countries, doesn't it? Look at Indonesia. Widodo is gone, but this new guy, what did he do? He slapped a 200% tariff on Chinese imports. It's the same thing. It's a different guy now. That's what I mean. The Philippines must learn from the likes of Indonesia. That there is whoever assumes power has to be consistent, must accept that certain things China does are unacceptable. And therefore, the response has to be consistent. See?
In this conflict with China, another important layer is propaganda. So far, what do you think of this? How do you think the Philippines is faring? Are we losing or winning it?
Propaganda, some say we're winning, some say we're losing, but China is a well-funded propaganda machine. Again, you see, Christian, this goes back to many things Filipinos don't understand. It all starts with UN Resolution 2758. I've always stressed that.
Yeah.
And that's regarding the legitimacy of who runs China in 1951. And the UN voted at that time that the People's Republic of China is a legitimate ruler of China. And not the Chiang Kai-shek forces anymore.
The nationalists.
The nationalists, the Kuomintang. But that's where the problem begins, because if you read that short resolution, it makes no mention, absolutely no mention, of the status of Taiwan. It just talks about who runs China, period.
Is that exactly a declaration categorically of the One China policy?
That is the basis for the international One China policy. Now, China's propaganda is they're conflating it. They're trying to confuse the world by coming up with their One China principle, what they call the One China principle, trying to use that as that's One China policy. No, it's not. It's just theirs. It's their propaganda, because One China principle, as far as they're concerned, means that Taiwan is a province of China. And they said many times that that's based on Resolution 2758. If only people bothered to read Resolution 2758, which is so short, there's absolutely no mention of the status of Taiwan.
Let's go to the incident last June 17. So we were attacked by pickaxes and knives.
That's right.
Some people are describing that as a very unfortunate or embarrassing incident for the Philippines.
To us, yes.
How did you see it?
It was bad. It showed, to me, it showed weakness again. It showed ambivalence, it showed weakness. It showed that we refuse to stand up to China. You have to. As I've said already, China hates to lose face. And they will not engage in a military conflict. You notice when they claimed that they saw our sailors had guns, they were panicking.
Really?
Yes. They were making a lot of noise in the press. Oh, they have guns. Oh, they have guns. You know, they're afraid of guns. Trust me.
Duwag ang China sa baren?
Yes, because in China, nobody owns guns.
So that's
I
also
know.
part of their psyche?
Yeah. They're afraid of it. All right, I told you, they're afraid to get into a military conflict. They're paranoid about firearms. military hardware. What they're good at is selling military hardware to Russia for the Ukraine invasion. That's what they do. Like I told you, saving face and making lots of money. That's China. Okay, that's it.
So if that is true, yung dalawang very important things for China, a full-blown war or an actual conflict,
Yeah,
also
military conflict. Yeah,
uh,
they don't want that. They're not going to get into that now.
they would also lose money because of that, right?
They will lose money. You see, like in the Taiwan case, for example, which is connected to this one, the Taiwan scenario. Remember, those in the military now in China, soldiers and things like that, troops, okay? These are the guys, this is the generation who benefited hugely from China's economic miracle. They have money. All these soldiers now in China, they have money. Officers, they have lots of money. They are not going to risk their lives to lose that because they value money, material wealth so much. So,
Even over this.
as I said, in the unlikely event that Taiwan is invaded, they're not going to use Chinese troops. The one who owes them a lot and entirely is North Korea. My hunch, and I've said this already sometimes, they will use North Korean troops in Chinese uniforms, pretend they're Chinese troops, and use Chinese arms to attack Taiwan. In the unlikely event, as I said,
Okay.
unlikely event, but definitely not Chinese troops.
Okay. Another problem that we're facing is the Pogo,
Oh, the gambling, yeah.
yung Pogo hubs. So, how bad is the situation from your perspective?
I'm saying
In
that
connection with what's
China,
happening with the West Philippines.
China has made very deep inroads in Philippine society. They have driven a wedge in our political and economic and financial system already. All right, and there are many surrogates of theirs here, whom they have paid either through business deals or outright bribes. And I've said this also, and I know it's a very risky thing to say, but I say it with a lot of conviction, okay, because I know it's happening.